So in lieu of the Valentine's Day season, I went out of my way to watch a romance series. Shout out to all my single people out there, and may we spend some quality time with our anime waifus. After watching Weathering With You and having the Seattle rain weather in NYC, I thought After the Rain would be the perfect series to follow up with. Now, it actually took a lot of motivation for me to start this series. Firstly, the plot is about a romance between a 45-year-old man and a 17-year-old girl. We watched enough anime and big boy content to know where that plotline usually goes. Secondly, from seeing all those shoujo sparkles and eyes, in my head, I always think about those photoshopped Japanese huge ass eyes. But even with this plotline usually used for erotica and that Japanese photo booth sparkle, after finishing this anime, all of my preconceived notions were just thrown out the window. The first thing I want to bring up is that the beginning of the series got me hyped as fuck. We quickly get introduced to a 17-year-old Akira Tachibana, a beautiful high school girl with longer legs than the human lifespan. Based on the first few minutes, you could tell that Akira is kind of plugged out of her high school life. She's always looking out in space like a 13-year-old depressed Tumblr girl, and she is barely responsive to her peers like when I talk to my Asian parents. Then we get introduced to Akira's workplace, a standard family restaurant, and we also get introduced to Akira's boss, a 45-year-old man named Masami Kondo. Now, this is where things turn from 0 to 100 real fast. Our girl Akira confessed to Kondo not once, but 1, 2, 3 motherfucking times. Akira's confession rate is the summation of 100 high school anime series confessions. For the most part, high school protagonists takes them 400 manga chapters or 250 anime episodes to confess to their love. But for the legend Akira, not only the anime Akira, but this girl Akira, took her only 3 fucking episodes. So both Akira and Gondo go on a date, and we soon learn that this love between Akira and Gondo is very unlikely. The biggest reason being is obviously the age gap. Gondo is pretty much as old as Akira's father, and their age difference is clearly shown, especially in that one scene about both of the characters' interpretation of an open-ended ending of a Japanese novel named Rashomon. In the end of the novel, there is a moral question of would you rather die and die as a good person, or rather steal for the sake of survival? Gondo quickly responds that when you get to his age, you live life more timidly and thus try to avoid trouble as much as possible. On the other hand, Akira says the servant will muster enough courage to positively change for the better, and she wishes to read the sequel of the book. I feel that from this scene alone, we are clearly shown that both Gondo and Akira are at different points of their lives. Gondo is paralyzed by many things that prevent him from taking drastic measures because he is chained by many responsibilities such as raising his kid and managing the family restaurant. Whereas Akira still has her whole future ahead of her and has the leeway to pursue whatever ambitions she has. I feel because of where Gondo is in his life and understanding that Akira has so much more going for her, Gondo ultimately decided to set boundaries and limit their relationship only to a friendship. Now, this is where the story gets so much more interesting and the reason why I love this series. In most cases, things would have not ended there. And what would have eventually happened is that the girl is like, fuck this friend zone bullshit, I'm going to pursue this dude no matter what. And after many ups and downs in the series, in the end, from the efforts of the girl not giving up, both of the characters would eventually end up together. However, in the case of After the Rain, this series shitted on this narrative and took a very refreshing take on this romantic cliche. They instead shifted the main theme of the story from romance to pursuing your dreams. Now, before y'all flip out and say that this is a cop-out, y'all better sit your asses down like Rosa Parks and hear me out. I ultimately feel that this shift really worked because of the execution. The first being that the series actually respected the intelligence of the audience. Instead of giving us all the answers, there was a myriad of fragmented memories and small details that forced the audience to piece together things to understand the bigger picture. Firstly, with Akira, we are shown a brief second of a scar of her Achilles. And for the people that don't know sport injuries, ripping your Achilles is like one of the top 3 worst injuries you could get and potentially be career ending. For example, when Kobe, God rest his soul, got an Achilles injury, he was never the same, even after 1 whole year of rehab. So paired with that small detail about Akira's injury and these different snapshots of her days in track and field, the audience is able to deduce that she had a deep love for running, but is devastated because she lost all of that through her injury. We are also shown small details on Gondo, a quick snapshot of his dusty writing room, boxes after boxes of handwritten manuscripts, and him intently reading books. From these observations, we could deduce that at one point, Gondo really wanted to be a writer, but is now stuck as a manager at a family restaurant. Not only did the series respect the audience in figuring things out, the series reinforced the realism of these raw emotions behind giving up these dreams through a lot of parallelism and symbolism. For example, the parallels of Akira slowly walking alongside the track team training, or Akira's turn back against a big banner congratulating the track and field team. You really start to feel the raw emotions of these different characters. And another obvious symbolism is the rain and the different types of rain. Gentle rain when Akira is making up with her old friends, or when there is a heavy rain when Akira's heart is filled with sorrow. So with this series leveraging all of these small things, the narrative of the story was no longer about the romance story between Akira and Gondo, but was now more about how these two could find the courage to rekindle their passion for their dreams. And really, when you boil it down, it's them asking what comes after the rain. I feel that the central message really hit me on a deep level because I sometimes ask myself that question. There was a point in my life where I completely lost my dream. In junior year of high school, I ran for president of the school for senior year, and I was the popular contender for that position because prior to that campaign, I was in student council for 3 years. However, I lost by a landslide and I was just devastated. For 3 whole years, my life completely centered around student council duties, spending Friday nights planning for a school rally, giving up school lunches to decorate the gym for a school dance, and really spending hours of blood, sweat, and tears into my class. In high school, student council was everything for me. So for me to have all of that taken from me all of a sudden, especially for senior year, the year where we're supposed to go out with a bang, I was just lost for words. After losing the presidential race, I just submerged myself into the onpourings of the rain. But there came a point where I had to ask myself, what am I supposed to do after the rain? Life is about getting knocked down and picking yourself back up. And my saving grace was this YouTube hustle. Even though my dream of becoming the most amazing senior president is now a facade, I can rededicate my 120% energy into this YouTube grind, and I'm just so grateful that the universe granted me a way out. I feel that in the same way, the initial romantic encounter between Akira and Gondo sparked that rekindle of the fire and really forced them to answer that question of what do I do when I lose my dream and identity. For Gondo, going on a date with a much younger girl reminded him of his youth and especially his fiery determination of becoming a novelist when he was much younger. He started to explore his past and do things he never expected, such as reconnecting with his close famous author friend after 10 long years, and to even organizing his writing room. So despite the mundane routine of a typical Japanese middle-aged man, his fated encounter with Akira led to small incremental changes that finally broke the curse. And at the end, Gondo finally picked up the pen once more. And same with Akira, since she both loved and deeply respected Gondo. After seeing him change for the better, it really motivated her to give her running dream one more try. So even if she tried to avoid running and try to forget about running through working ridiculous hours at her part-time, she is also shown at the end of committing to rehab to get back to her long-lost love of running. Even if the humanly romance did not emerge between Gondo and Akira, they really did satisfy their love in the end. Akira for running, and Gondo for writing. All in all, if you get past the preconceived assumptions on the surface of the story, you will be blown away by both the realism and completely refreshing take on the romantic genre. For me, this series really spoke to me on a personal level and really forced me to explore very uncomfortable parts of my past. But at the same time, it reconfirmed my deep love for this YouTube content creation. I pray to God that if there's a real Akira and Gondo out there, that Akira is out there running, feeling the wind once more as an Olympic gold medalist runner, and Gondo published the most eloquently written best-selling novel. Thank you guys for watching this video and really taking the time to watching it. Love you guys and see you guys in the next video.